Hi, I'm Reb Risty with Revolutionize Your Marketing, Your Business, Your Life. And I have Ray Adler here with me today. And we're going to talk about business and EOS and coaching and your entrepreneurial background and all the good things that you've learned over the years. So excited to talk to you, Ray. Maybe for my audience, you can introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Great to be with you today, Reb. Thanks so much for the opportunity. So my name is Ray Adler. I'm a certified EOS implementer, and EOS stands for the Entrepreneurial Operating System. And as it turns out, I come from a long line of entrepreneurs. Both grandfathers were super interesting entrepreneurs with multiple business endeavors. My father, my aunt, and uncle were business owners, multiple time business owners. My two younger brothers, my son, all entrepreneurs, all business owners. So a lot of experience in the family, starting, running, and growing, and failing at entrepreneurial endeavors, because that's how we learn. As far as myself, I've been a business growth coach for over 30 years and have helped improve the leadership, sales, and operational performance of over 200 companies. The majority have been in the U.S., but I've had clients in Australia, Canada, and New Zealand as well. Yeah, so today I'm really focused on helping companies, entrepreneurial companies, who are interested in taking their company from being a good company to a great company. Taking a company that's strong and making it a company that's significant and an industry leader. And so that's the kind of profile, the types of entrepreneurs we look to work with.
Yeah, no, I love it. And if I recall, you worked in your family business, and your family has an interesting history of entrepreneurship. Maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Well, again, going back to grandfathers, my grandfather on my mom's side was an inventor. And the ambulance cots today that we see, where the ambulance cot folds up into the back of the ambulance, that cot, the very first design and patent, was my grandfather's. And he went into business back in, I think, the late 50s, manufacturing his ambulance cot. That was the first product. The company is still in existence today. It's called Furno, and they manufacture and distribute emergency medical products all over the world. He also owned the Cincinnati Reds from 1936 to 1939, and so my grandfather on my dad's side owned a chain of department stores back in the day, 50s, 60s, by the name of Adler's, which is my last name. So it's pretty interesting, the wide variety of businesses my family's been in. So
yeah, that's crazy. And those are very unique and different types of businesses. Why do you think they were successful? What's the secret?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm the oldest of three boys, so I remember my grandparents quite well. We didn't have too many business conversations back when I was 4, 5, 6, 7, but I do know that they did surround themselves with good leaders, people who were open to growing. As successful as they were humble, and they surrounded themselves with good people, people whose personal core values fit the company's core values, so that they were able to build strong, enduring cultures. And they had some pretty innovative ideas as well. So I think they were able to adapt with the times, and that's helped. At least my one grandfather has two companies that are in existence today that were started back in the 1960s. So that's pretty impressive. That's a long time to be in business.
Yeah, it is. And as we know, you can have the best product in the world or service, but if you don't have good structure and people, oh my gosh, is that what we if you're in a business forum of any kind or have a coach, you talk about this constantly. Since you are a coach, you're an EOS, certified in EOS, and you've worked with over 200 companies, what would you say is a common mistake that you just see over and over?
Yeah, great question. So the thing that's been consistent, and again, I've worked with lots of companies in different industries, the one thing that's really been consistent is the failure of the founder and his or her leadership team to understand how complex their business has grown, because they're constantly working in the business every day, every week. And so the complexity grows exponential in an organization. It is that complexity that creates all sorts of issues with scalability, profitability, customer experience, just delivering your products and services on time. And so transitioning and using that as a little bit of a segue, the Entrepreneurial Operating System, EOS, was created about 20 years ago by a lifelong entrepreneur, an author by the name of Gino Wickman. And Gino, long story short, was called in, but lifelong entrepreneur since the age of 21, 25. He was called in to run his family's business and quickly discovered the business was in need of a turnaround. So he turned the business around, ultimately sold it, and was one of the first founding members of the EO Detroit chapter. And that's a CEO peer group, and that's where he learned that he had a knack and passion for the art and science of running a truly great entrepreneurial company. And when he retired, he threw himself into his knack and passion and cobbled together what today is known as EOS. And the way we describe it's a proven process and simple set of tools for helping a leadership team, helping founders, helping business owners get more of what they want out of their business. And today there were over 24,216 companies globally, industry-leading companies globally, running on EOS. So it's a powerful process for simplifying a business, solving a whole bunch of issues. And when you do that, a company scales faster, it's more profitable, and most importantly, there's greater work-life balance in those companies. EOS did a survey many years ago on the benefits, the priority benefits of companies running on EOS. And Reb, believe it or not, the number one benefit was companies running on an EOS. The employees, everybody enjoyed greater work-life balance. So there was less stress, less pressure in the workplace, less overtime, left and right hand working in unison, better communication, just better work-life balance. And that's so important today from the standpoint of both attracting and retaining top quality employees.
Yeah, no, I think that's so important. And as a business owner, work-life balance sounds like a myth. But I am familiar with EOS. I have a few clients on EOS. I actually sit in the marketing seat for one of the clients. So I know it works. How is it different, or why do you think it works better than maybe another system? Because there are a lot out there. How can you describe EOS, or is there a type of business that is better for versus other systems?
Yeah, great question. So what happens in companies is managers and leaders come from lots of different organizations, and so they bring lots of different tools and ideas about how things were done from their prior companies. And so what happens then in a company is you have lots of different systems, and just like companies have lots of different software systems internally, the promise of which all those software systems will communicate effectively, and we all know that they don't. And so what's absolutely, I think, unique to EOS is it's a proven process and simple set of tools. It's been around for over 20 years. Number one, another differentiator is its simplicity. And so what EOS does is looks at an organization and breaks it down into 6 distinct components of that business, and all of the issues and struggles and challenges that a business experiences those challenges because of weaknesses in one or more of the 6 key components.
Yeah.
And so I think it might be helpful for your viewers just if I quickly kind of state what those 6 components are, because regardless of the size of business, every business, be it a solopreneur or a company with 100 or 500 employees, has the six same key components.
Right.
Yep. So the first component is the vision component. And that's about getting everybody in the organization, starting with the leadership team, 100% on the same page with where they're going and how they plan to get there. That's pretty rare in a lot of companies, that the leadership team is all clear on the vision and the plan to get there. The second component is the people component. As you know, as a business owner and employer, is you're only as good as your weakest people. And so strengthening the people component is about ensuring that 100% of the employees in your organization are A players, right? Yeah. They're the right people in the right seats. We're all familiar with that term in the book, Good to Great. The third key component is the data component, and that's just about helping a leadership team make better data-driven decisions. Every company, regardless of size or industry, has precious limited time, energy, and financial resources, and the challenge for all of us is how do we leverage those very precious limited commodities to better serve our customers and grow our organizations. So when you strengthen the vision, people, and data components, a company gets very transparent. All the issues, all the bottlenecks that exist in the company are right there in plain sight. So the fourth key component in that model is called the issues component. And strengthening the issues component is just creating a culture in an organization where every employee, regardless of tenure or position, feels absolutely comfortable raising their hand, calling out, and getting all the issues that exist in an organization onto an issues list and run through a proprietary process we teach our clients to really resolve those issues for the greater good of the organization. The fifth key component is the process component. And so every company has 6 to 10 core processes that make the business run, right? There's a marketing process, which is what you do, which is to go out and create awareness in the marketplace, a sales process for how we convert that demand into revenue. There's some operational processes for how we manufacture product, deliver service, or both. Customer service process, finance process. The key is how do we get those 6 to 10 core processes simplified, documented, and then followed by all. And when you get that level of process efficiency, a business becomes much more scalable, easier to manage. Everybody's having a lot more fun because things are working more smoothly, and ultimately the company is making more profit as a result of having all of those core processes done the right way, the best way. And then the last is really the traction component. And sadly enough, the entrepreneurial vision goes unrealized in many, many companies because of weakness in the traction component. And so that's really about bringing the vision down to the ground and instilling discipline and accountability in the organization. So wherever the owner, leaders go, they see employees operating with much greater clarity and focus on the tasks and activities that really move the company forward on a quarter-by-quarter basis.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a high-level overview of the model, Reb.
No, that's good. And one of the things I do like about it is the simplicity. I think there are a lot of systems out there, and if it gets too complicated, as a busy entrepreneur, a business owner, you will just let it go. If it's not simple and your team doesn't understand it and they can't execute it and it's not trackable, you just eventually let it go, no matter how good it is, right? So I do really appreciate that it is that simplicity. It's got the main key parts and they all make sense. So no, I appreciate that breakdown. I really do. Yeah. When you do think about, because going back to talking about what you feel made your family successful entrepreneurs, maybe if you could just pull out one piece, the right people in the right seats, because I do feel like across the board, that's always something that I've seen. I talk to other business owners. It's just a real top of mind, obvious one. Where do you start? How do you get a client? I guess, how do you start with that section with people?
Yeah, super great question. And so the term right people, right seats, popularized by Jim Collins in the book Good to Great. So right people are employees whose personal core values are aligned with the company's core values. Right seats are employees who have the God-given talent, experience, and motivation to really excel in your job. And you absolutely have to have both. And so there's two components there that help clients to get 100% of their employees right people, right seats. So the first tool is something called an accountability chart. And it looks like an org chart, but in each of the boxes on that chart are the 5 key roles that each person in the company is accountable for. Really crystallizing the 5 things that each person is accountable for. And then our clients use a tool called the People Analyzer, which is a very, very simple tool that enables supervisors and managers to very objectively evaluate their employees as to where they're falling short and where they're succeeding, so that the manager or supervisor can provide better coaching and feedback. And when you use these two tools, it's pretty common that every company has people issues. Every company has some percentage of their employees that might be the right person in the wrong seat, or vice versa. And that impacts employee retention, that impacts profitability, productivity, all those things. Ultimately, we use these two tools to help clients get clear on how many people issues they have. And then there's obviously steps and protocols that employers have to follow to manage those employees either up or out. And so, it's a process. And I would say that the way to think of your core values is, if you were to clone your top producers, if you were to think of your 3 best employees in the organization, what are the characteristics that they have that make them so exceptional, be it an attitude or a behavior that makes them so exceptional? And so what we do is we create a master list of potential characteristics, and through a proprietary process, we ultimately synthesize a list of what could be 15 to 20 or more potential core values, down to a very tight list of between 3 and 7 core values that in essence become just like our fingerprints are unique to us. A company's core values are unique to them. And then what you do is you go about hiring, managing, incenting, and firing employees based on the company's core values. And that's how you build a super strong, enduring, high-performance culture. So, some solid steps there.
Yeah, and I love that. And getting down to those, 5 or 7 core values, it's a challenge, and it definitely takes work. But I love that what you do is you train the management team to hire towards those core values versus necessarily skill set. And that doesn't mean you need an engineer who's an engineer, right? You can't hire someone off the street who isn't. But I do believe those core values, which a lot of people think are fluff. So in marketing, when we're trying to put those together, a lot of times they get pushed to the side. And I love that EOS is wrapping that back in and saying, no, this isn't just marketing speak. This is who we are in a verbal way. Yeah. So I think that's great.
Yeah. What else can I share with you? There's lots of great stuff to share.
I know we could probably talk forever, but I know you're a busy, busy man. And I'm so grateful that you came on and to talk to me for a little bit. We've had the chance to get to know each other. So we like to ask all of our guests one last question. It is, what is the best non-business advice you've ever received?
Non-business advice. Well, so I'm newly married, relatively newly married, about 18 months or so, and I asked some friends of mine who had been married for 50 years, what is the best advice they have to maintain a healthy, relationship, an enduring relationship. And patience was the number one characteristic that helped them create, a very sustainable, loving relationship. And I think that, as Gandhi says, be the change you want to see in the world. There's tremendous opportunity today for all of us to have more compassion, more patience, more forgiveness with one another, so that we can leverage the best of what each of us brings to our respective personal lives and professional lives.
Yeah. No, that's great. And I think that does apply to professional. But I love that. I think if you can start at home and be patient and loving and come from a good spot. So that's great. That is good advice. I would say that's one of the best we've had so far. Usually, because I interview business people, so our minds are always thinking about business, right? So usually the advice is some business focused, but that's okay. All of it works. Yeah. But
Absolutely. I don't know if anybody would like the first Gino Wickman's book. Traction is the book that most people are well known with, and if anybody of your listeners would like the first copy or first chapter of the book Traction, I don't know if there's a way to have them download it, either give them my email address or whatever, but I'd sure love to make that available to anybody who is interested in learning more about EOS. So how do we do that? What's the best way to do that?
Perfect. So what we'll do in the show notes, everyone paying attention, we'll put a link. If there's a link for them, or just email you. Is that what you prefer?
Yeah, let's do email.
Okay.
Yep. So you have my email address, right? It's ray.adler@eosworldwide.com, and let's do that. And all they have to put is traction in the email, and I'll just shoot them the first chapter of Traction.
Perfect. Thanks, Ray. That's really generous of you. So we'll put that in our show notes and make sure that when we do the post, it'll get sent out. So everybody get that first chapter. I have also read Traction. It was part of a course that I was taking. I do think that there's a ton of value in getting that first chapter, because once you get the idea and the methodology in place, it really will open up a lot of different avenues in your business and where you can structure things. So thank you.
Well, this has been great. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
absolutely.
Enjoyed it immensely.
Absolutely. And for everybody out there, remember, if you want to revolutionize your marketing, start with messaging and content. Rebel Marketing can help you, and you could reach out to us. Visit our website, Rebel Marketing, REBL marketing.com.